It's your host Elia, and we are here at Live Hip Hop Daily each and every Thursday at 7 with the crew, Creative Visions. Woohoo! So, on part 2 of this lovely solo episode, you guys, I got my eye to stop twitching. I stopped yelling at y'all. We're gonna have a regular conversation, but I had to get that off my chest. But I just really did. So if y'all didn't see that episode, y'all go watch last episode. I talked about what it is to be a boss thief, what are the rules behind it, and my expectations. Because some of y'all have been acting a little weird with this word, and we have to rein it in. We're gonna bring it in. Somebody was talking to me about my show and really said that I created this word boss thieves, and I didn't really kind of finish the thought, right? I just created it and let it fly. I let it do its own thing, right? And when you let something do its own thing, you have no control over it anymore. So I decided to take back control of my lovely hashtag boss thieves, and we defined it. So you guys go back, watch that episode. It's beautiful. Follow me on YouTube at Entrepreneurs. Follow me on Instagram as well at entrepreneur.ish.podcast. And you guys are going to see so much coming up. We are going to do a lot of special episodes. October is going to be all about publishing that book, publishing the story that you have going on. We are really going to make October about taking your creative idea, who to talk to, how to get it published, how to turn it into a movie. We got some really great guests coming up. I'm not going to spoil it for you guys because I want you to watch. So you guys go follow entrepreneur.ish.podcast. Go subscribe to Live Hip Hop Daily so that y'all know when I'm live. And subscribe to @Entrepreneurs on YouTube so that you guys know what's going on. So that you guys can see what kind of guests we have going on. Because my guests are about to get crazy. And then in November, we're going to do nothing but Friendsgiving things. And then December, I got some gifts for you guys. So you guys stay. This next quarter is about to be amazing. Nothing but growth. Nothing but harvesting all the shit that we had to go through in spring and summer to get here. We're here, y'all. We done worked all the kinks out. We done got all the weird people away. We done figured out how to find the guests, keep y'all interested, keep y'all watching, keep y'all subscribing. So yeah, now we here. Now it's only up. We having fun. I'm doing a lot of fun things now. I think I've been taking this a little bit too fucking seriously. So we're gonna rewind it. We're gonna go back to fun, Ellie. I think that's also been a thing. But today we're talking about business growth and embracing it. Because a lot of us start a business and there's a very long period of time where no one gives a fuck. And it's just a really long time of you being the only person that believes in you. And then all of a sudden starts to gather, there's some people around, and then you look around and you're like, there's a fucking parade behind me. What is happening? Y'all care? You're hearing all this noise and this information that's coming to you. All these moments are happening to you faster than you can even imagine, right? You're putting yourself in spaces that you never thought that you're not even putting yourself in spaces. Other people are placing you in spaces that you never imagined for yourself, or you did, but it was like one of those thoughts that you thought that, might happen 10 years from now, whatever. And it's just amazing. So I'm at this brand new point now, y'all, where I've gotten some growth in my business. And so I wanted to really kind of talk about what that journey has felt like. And I also wanted to talk about the challenges that comes with it, because now I have a responsibility that I didn't even think, I was ever going to have. Like, I'm actually responsible for this kid now. Like, it's a whole kid. Like, I'm a whole mom up here with a kid, and I have to take care of it. And so instead of letting my kids starve and be bad as fuck, like, we're gonna talk about how I have to change how I work and how I move and how everything happens. And also we're gonna finish up with lessons, because you guys know I never like to leave y'all hanging with just thoughts and feelings. We gotta bring it around. We gotta get better. We gotta grow with it. So let's just get started. So when you start your business and it's just you can do certain things. You can have weird moments. You can not be structured. You can go at your own pace. You can can do a lot of things that are actually kind of fun. You get to wear what you want, you get to do what you want, talk what you want, you get to say crazy shit. You're never gonna get canceled because it's like 4 people watching you. Who the fuck cares, right? That's where I was at for a very long time. I don't know when it happened. Actually, when do y'all think it happened? Like August? August. Yeah, August. All of a sudden, people started noticing the kid, and then all of a sudden it was like, wait a minute, there's something happening here. There's a team. There's people to feed. There's people to invest in. People are literally looking to get something real big from being on this show. So now it's not even like, hey, just come support me, be on my show real quick, do this interview. It's like, no. How many people are going to see this? If I do a giveaway, are people going to participate? We're going to be next. I'm throwing this party. Can you be a part of it? Like, I'm hosting this thing at this place. Can you be a part of it? Like, I'm getting asked to do a lot more things. So that means I can't just half-ass this. I never half-ass this. I never half-ass this. Let's get something fucking straight. I never half-ass my show. But I can't just willy-nilly go with the flow anymore. And that is the new responsibility thing that I am learning. Like, once you get some growth, you gotta have some couth about yourself. You gotta go about things in a different way. You gotta hold yourself to a different standard. So even though I like to do something that is called most viable products, and I think a lot of people need to understand this. So I learned this in corporate America. When you start something, you start off with the most viable product. When you get started, this is not the time to bring 6,000 features. This is not the time to have 8 different website pages. This is not the time to have 600 different products and, you're trying to fill out your fashion line like Fashion Nova and you got 17 pages of stuff. Don't do that. Don't do that. You're just getting started. No one's going to get to page 16. No one cares. No one cares about anything you have going on. This is not the time. All these website pages, you paid so much money for something that no one's going to look at. You need a most viable product. So when I started my show, what was my most viable product? I had a cell phone. So that's what I started with. I did my entire episodes on my phone just like this, right? When I got to upgrade, I had a whole microphone. That was wonderful. That's the next most viable product. And then after I had a microphone, then I went to being mobile and I was outside and I was going to interview people. So then I had like little lapel mics that I had. They were still pretty crappy, but I had upgraded, right? Then I got a camera. So then we upgraded a little bit more. And then after I got the camera, then I got somebody who actually knew what to do with a camera. Shout out to Creative Visions because it was real grainy. It was from far away. You couldn't hear what the fuck was going on. There was a lot of problems. I had so many problems in the beginning. But I had a show. You can tell me I didn't have a show. It came out each and every week. I had something going on. I had guests going on. So again, start with the most viable product. I think a lot of y'all are trying to start something and you're trying to start here with lights, camera, action. And it don't start here. It does not start here. Because if you start here, you're not ready for it. You got to be able to sit here and have these conversations, do a full hour show by yourself, just staring into, you need practice. You need time. You need effort. So I would say that this time when you have your most viable products, this is when you are literally practicing. You're in prep. You are learning. So at this time, when you're just getting started, everything you do, it went black. The light went off. There it goes. Okay. So everything you do should really be, it's prep. You should be learning. You should be looking at everybody's podcast. You should be looking at whatever you do. You should be learning from your competitors. You should be learning from the people who are making millions of dollars off of this. You should be learning about, and I hope y'all didn't lose me. I'm going to redo what I was saying. But yeah, during this time of your most viable products, you guys need to be learning. You need to be scouting. You need to be going to find people who are in your field and talking to them. I will always say coming to Live Hip Hop Daily was the best prep school I could ever get into, for real, because everybody does podcasts here. Everybody does different types of podcasts. Everybody has different types of audiences. Everybody has different types of ways of promoting their stuff. Everybody has different types of merch. They have different types of events they go to. They have different types of sets. They have different types of everything, right? You could kind of really see as many podcasts as possible. So you guys, like, for real, go follow Live Hip Hop Daily. Go watch all of these wonderful podcasts because they're amazing. Because all these people are doing their own thing and they're doing it well. So go watch. And I have learned so much from everybody because I've seen how they have guests. I've seen how they've introduced people. I've seen how they do their clips. I've seen how they run their social media. I've seen how they've done so many things, and it was because it was my time. I had said that I had this podcast, I had gotten this platform, and then I needed to learn how to use this platform that I had. So I have been in school, in podcast school, basically, for real, learning how to really run a show, and not one man band a show, how to run a show. Like, what do you talk about when you have lights on you? How do you bring guests? Like, how do you keep people informed? How do you keep people wanting to be a part of what you have going on, right? I've learned all of that. So I would say in the beginning, you're so much in preparation where it's just practice. And it's literally practice everywhere all the time with anybody. And I'm not kidding. Do this at home. I literally have full, like, especially if I'm doing a solo show, I walk my whole neighborhood and do my whole solo show. If I don't like it, I do it again. If I'm still like, I'm not really sure, I run it back one more time. Why? Because when I get here, I'm trying to be prepared and not trying to am prepared because I went through the reps. I did it, and sometimes I'll even get on my phone and do it to make sure that I'm talking. I talk with my hands, y'all. Y'all already know that. But, like, make sure it's not flailing all over the place, right? It's not distracting. And I make sure that, like, I'm holding my head up, that I'm not moving it too much, like I'm not doing the most, right? Because this is part of it. All of this it's preparation. So I spent so much time in preparation that now I'm starting to see the fruits of all of that preparation. Once you talk to yourself enough, once you say you have a podcast to enough people, like I tell people all the time, I had to shake 500 hands to get to a point where people knew what my show was about. 500. I'm not even done yet. Like, I think I'm actually, I have a few more events coming up, so it's about to be 600, 700 very, very soon. By the end of the year, my goal was to shake 1,000 hands and tell them about my show personally, in their face. Why? Because this is how you grow your business. Now, when I first started shaking hands, I was looking at the floor. I was like, yeah, I have a podcast. It's pretty awesome. You should watch it, right? Real low. And I was like, hey, I have this wonderful podcast. It's called Entrepreneurish. It's on this platform, blah, 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 blah. I have this type of guest. Here, check out my YouTube. Check out my show. Check out my Instagram, all the type of things, right? So it got better. And now you guys see I'm looking you in the face, right? My head's not down. I'm speaking with a lot of confidence because I've done it. And that's what happens. That's how you grow your business, is like you're putting something towards it every single day. Then one day you look up and you're not in prep mode anymore. And that's what's happened. All of a sudden I'm not prepping. All of a sudden I'm sitting here and I'm doing this. This is my show. People get nervous to come on my show, like crazy nervous. It's weird. I'm like, it's just me, but it's not just me. It means something now. It's bigger than that. So that is what happens when you practice and you move your business. You transition because you have to, because you put in all this work. It's like if you work out enough times, you gotta lose weight. That's just logic. That's just really it. You lift enough weights, you're gonna gain muscle mass. It's logic. It's because you've been putting in the work, so something comes out of it, right? But you don't notice that you've lost weight in the first week, first month. It takes a while before you actually see where the work has gone to, how it's actually, affected you. So I've gotten to a point where now, like I said, I have a team. I love Creative Visions. They help me with so much. And now I have to expand that team. Now I'm moving on to having an assistant that will help me do all of this admin work that I have. And so the day I had to tell myself you need an assistant, I was like, the fuck is happening? You need an assistant? And then I was like, what would I even tell her to do? And then I was like, okay, how would you even set this up? So then I had to go, Ellie, what do you do? So I had to write down all the tasks that I do to keep the show going. And y'all, it's like 25 tasks. I'm wearing 25 hats up here. Like right now, you're watching a girl with like, do y'all remember that book from like elementary school where it was like the man with like 100 fucking hats on his head? That's me. That's me. I just walk around with that shit, balancing it all over the place. But yeah, so now I'm like, here, you take a hat. You take a fucking hat. Somebody grab a hat. Help me out, because I'm out here looking crazy. Because now people are like, why does lady have all these hats on? Yeah, you know, because she doesn't want to delegate. So y'all, if your business is moving and you have transitioned from talking to yourself to actually having an audience, you need help. You need to delegate. And I know it's hard because for me, I was like, what if they don't write emails like I do? What if somebody answers the phone and it's not like I do it? Well, then it's your job to train them. It's your job to train them. You have to train them. This is why all of us, when you start a job, you get trained on it, right? And then some of us have had jobs where you don't get trained, and you kind of get fired from those jobs because you don't really represent what they're looking for. It's because they didn't tell you what they were looking for, right? They didn't train you up in that. So I don't know about y'all, but I got fired plenty of times. Plenty of times. Because sometimes you just don't fit the mold. And that's also why I have my own business. So, yeah, building your team means there's just, it's a lot of training. There's delegation involved and there's benefits in it. And the benefits are you get to give this hat to somebody. You get to take a weight off your shoulder and you get to focus on what you're greatest at. I'm an idea person. I used to always tell my mom, I used to walk around when I was doing these jobs and I was like, you know, Mom, I'm an idea person. I'm not a doer. I'm an idea person. And I was like, I keep getting all these jobs where people keep asking me to do something instead of think about something. What is wrong with them? And I was like, honestly, it was like, what's wrong with me? Why do I keep accepting jobs where I'm doing things? Like, why don't I accept jobs where I just have concepts and I give them my brain, right? So some people are doers, some people are idea people. I need you to define who you are. We all have our strengths. The doers get things done. I need y'all. I need you guys. So yes, I'm going to give somebody who I know can do stuff the hat. Because I procrastinate sometimes. And we have to get out of our own way. I did this whole entire episode about procrastinating and getting out of your own way. If that's taking you too long to do, then you need to pass it to somebody else who can do it. This is just where it's at. When you have a business and you're trying to get it to grow and you just can't figure out what's the problem, you can't figure out what's wrong, if there's that one thing that you just can't make yourself do, it's time to delegate. It is time to delegate because you're going to hold yourself back trying to make yourself a marketer and you're not a marketer. You're going to hold yourself back trying to be a camera person and you're not a camera person. Like, you're going to hold yourself back if you keep trying to do jobs that aren't you. It's just not you. That's just not what you do. All of us have a very special purpose in life, and you can find somebody whose whole business is to do the marketing, to do the camera stuff, to do whatever else the thing that you can't do anymore. Like, that's their job. There are people who love driving. If that's like me, y'all are gonna know that I done fucking made it when I'm talking about my driver was late. Yeah, no, Ellie does not need to drive. To all my family who's watching, you guys already know Ellie doesn't need to drive. We've had this conversation my whole life. I cried on my driver's license test to get a driver's license. That should tell you how much I should not be driving. That's the thing I'm gonna give up, okay? But yeah, we all have these things that we don't want to do that we can give to people and that we want them to have and that would actually help us. If I had a driver, do y'all know how on point I would be with messages and getting back to y'all and stuff? Because my time is free. I got somebody else to worry about the road. Like, just like now, like, I come in here and I already know that my audio is going to be crisp, my video is going to be crisp, because I have creative visions for that. This is what they do. They do this all over town. Like, check them out for real. I know I talk about creative visions, but for real, go check them out. But seriously, like, I get to not worry about this because I know they have it. I know they have it. I get to take that off my brain. Y'all, like, I had somebody say, can you come shoot something for me? And I really, like, looked at them crazy. They was like, what the face for? And I was like, I don't do that. I was like, there's no way. No, we have to coordinate this. This has to be a team. I can't just show up and film something. Really? you're gonna get the worst picture ever from me. This is gonna be the worst interview. You want me to set up a camera? No, I cannot do that anymore. We have people for this. We have people who are great at this, okay? Let's hire them. Let's get them on board, right? And a lot of times people are gonna ask you to do stuff, and when it's just you because they don't feel like paying people, that's the red flag right there. That's when you ask what's your budget and then get real quiet, and then that's when you go, I don't think I'll be available for that, right? So that is what this is when you get to the point where you can delegate. There's a lot of things that you get to say, I don't think I'll be available for that, because you get to weed out the people who are trying to play you. I've had so many times with me trying to get on for exposure or whatever, where I was in places where people weren't seeing my worth. People were seeing me as like a secretary or something, and I'm like, who's fucking secretary? I did that when I was 21, and I will never do that shit again, okay? It's like we have gone to another place. However, people do need secretaries. How about you hire somebody who loves being a secretary? There's people out there like that. There are people who love being people's assistants. They love there are people in that age range who need to go follow behind somebody right now. Like, you guys, there's just... delegate. Please delegate, and do it in a way where you're paying them to do the delegation, okay? Don't just have them do stuff for you because it feels nice, or it just makes you feel like, okay, I got this off my shoulders. Like we talked about that last episode. Stop trying not to pay people. Stop doing that. But yeah, when it's time to delegate, that's when you know you've reached a transition point. And then once you've reached that transition point and you're delegating to people, you actually have to have your shit together. You have to. If you say you're going to be here every Thursday at 7, you actually have to show up. I can't say, oh yeah, I'll be there at 2 anymore and then show up at 4, because people will be there at 2. I've had this happen to me. Like, I have literally been like, oh yeah, guys, I'm doing this event or whatever, right? And I'll be there at 2, right? At 2 o'clock, I'm getting phone calls. Where are you? I was at home, unfortunately. So I really wasn't going to get there until about 3:30, maybe 4. So again, I cannot delegate something. I cannot have people coming out and being at places and doing things with me, right? And I'm not even upholding my own schedule. Like, you have to be on your P's and Q's all of a sudden, because people are actually looking at you. Like I said, I've had so many times where I was like, oh, I'll put out an episode on Friday and don't put it out, right? No one cared then. But now if I'm not here on Thursday, it's a fucking problem. Like, people are like, what happened? I was waiting on your show. So do you see? Like, you actually have to hold yourself accountable now. You can't just say things and not do it. You can't just be like, oh yeah, I'm going to have a casting call and then not follow through. You can't just say, oh yeah, I'm going to be at this particular venue and not actually go. Like, because people care. People are going to, like, put that with your reputation. Y'all ever try to get into a club because one of your favorite artists is going to be there and then they don't show up, or they show up at 1 o'clock and the club closes at 2, and you're like, what the fuck? Like, I spent all this money to be in here to see this person and then they're not even here. That's what happens when you reach a certain level of business growth and now people are looking at you. You look crazy as fuck not holding up what you got going on. So now you have to hold yourself to a standard. I have to be on a different level. Like, I have to get to a point where I have to be places when I say I'm going to be there, and I have to perform the way I'm supposed to perform, because you know why? I'm getting paid for this shit. I'm getting paid for it. People are paying to be there, to be in this vicinity, to watch what I got going on. So no, we can't have no half-ass show. We can't have me showing up late. I can't. That is really my biggest thing, is being somewhere on time. And I keep blaming it on traffic, but I really need to plan better. And it's really just one of those things where it's just like, no, you have to be at a different level, because you are at a different level. So that's been my biggest thing, is in this transition, trying to be what I said I'm going to be. And I think it sounds good, right? We all listen to all these podcasts, and we listen to all these people tell us about, do this, do that, and then you're going to be a great entrepreneur. When you actually have to do what they're talking about, like when they're like, oh yeah, I'm a 5 a.m. person, you try being a 5 a.m. person. That shit is fucking wild. I tried it for a week, and I'm going to try it again. I'm going to keep trying it until I become a 5 a.m. person. I'm actually going to bring you guys along with that. So y'all follow at entrepreneur.ish.podcast and watch that starting next week. I'm going to be a 5 a.m. girly, because this is what they tell you to do when you're going to be an entrepreneur. You need all those hours in your day. You need every single fucking hour in your day. So you gotta wake up at 5 a.m. because if you don't, you push something else to the side, right? So then you end up late. Then you end up not having everything done. Then you end up looking crazy. Then people don't want to pay you no more, right? I can't fucking have that happen. I'm just getting on a roll. So no. We gotta get together, all right? So this is what it is. You have to be on your P's and Q's. What's going to help you be on your P's and Q's is having your team. Because if you are trying to do and wear all 25 fucking hats all the time, there's not even 25 hours in a day. So how are you going to get it done? No, for real, like really ask yourself that question. How in the fuck are you supposed to fit everything in to 24 hours in a day? You sleep till noon. That doesn't make any sense. You got 12 hours left. What are you going to do in that time? You can do that if you have people working for you at 5 a.m. and then they're done and then you get to wake up and check in on their progress and then somebody else finished their hours of the day. This is what I'm saying. The bigger you get, you're going to have to realize your limitations. You're going to have to realize what you can actually get done. I know for me, I'm like, especially when it comes to a show, I need time to practice. So that means Ellie can't be cooking. Ellie can't have major conversations that she needs to have that day. I can't be running errands that day. I can't. Do you know why? Because then I'm not focused. And when I get here, I'll be, whatever. I don't know what's going on type thing. We can't have that. You guys aren't going to watch that type of thing. So, yes, I have to delegate these things. These are the days that I have to Instacart. These are the days that I'm going to have to probably put a pizza in the oven. Like, I can't do a full-blown, let's cook this thing from scratch type thing. I can't have crazy-ass conversations with my family, about what's going on in their life on Thursdays. Everybody already knows Thursdays and Fridays, don't talk to Ellie. Because honestly, if my phone rings during the show, I'm actually pissed. Because everybody who's going to call me, y'all know what's going on. You already know what I'm doing. You know I can't talk. So yeah, you have to set these things up where it's like, okay, there's certain things that I can do. I can have that conversation with you on Wednesday, Monday, Saturday. I got lots of other days that I can have it, but Thursdays are mine. Thursdays are for entrepreneurs. Thursdays are for really what I have going on. So this is what I mean by delegating. When I have to be super focused like this, somebody else has to be writing my emails. Somebody else has to be reaching out to guests for next month. Somebody else has to be, getting the set together so that I can just sit down. Like there's a lot of other things that have to go on so that I'm able to focus on what I'm good at, which is sitting here and talking to you guys. So in these transitions, I really, really want you guys to know, first of all, don't worry about the transition if you're not there yet. You focus on your most viable product. And the more you focus on that and you focus on practicing, everything is going to move. Everything is going to move. Everything is going to move. I have to say that a few times because I know me, I wanted to quit so many times because I was like, no one cares. No one's watching. No one, like, what is the point of me paying this money? What is the point of me investing into this? What is the point of making a background? You know what I'm saying? Like, what is the point of these things that I'm putting time and effort into doing? Because it felt like, who cares? But you have to keep doing these things because you really are moving the needle. And then all of a sudden, you'll be in an area that you didn't even know you crossed that threshold. You're going to be like, oh, I'm just doing the things that I was doing every day. It doesn't really matter. Yes, that's exactly what you need to do. This is what everybody says. Being an entrepreneur is habitual. It's habitual. This is doing the same dumb shit every single day. And it really is. Every single day I have to wake up and I have to post. It does not matter what day it is. I got to. If I can't wake up and post, I got to schedule something. Why? Because y'all expect to see me every single day. I can't have a lapse thing because if I do, then people are like, is she still doing a podcast? I can't have questions like that. These are the types of things. It's habits. It's disciplines. I have to post every single Thursday because this is how you guys know where to find me. It's so that whenever you have a Thursday open and you're free at 7, you know that you can watch the show. That means I have to be here each and every Thursday at 7. I have to be on the same platform because if I start going from one platform to another, y'all gonna be like, okay, what channel do I actually watch her on? Oh, I gotta go over here to figure out where she's at. No, you have to stay consistent. And to stay consistent means you're doing a whole bunch of stuff over and over and over again with nobody giving a fuck, with no claps, with no type of help, with no, yeah, you got to do it. And you have to do it until all of a sudden you're in a whole nother area. Once you cross this whole other area, then you have to get your shit together. You're going to have to figure out what you do. What are those habits that you do every day so that you can figure out what to pass off. Also, when you figure out what you do every day, you can figure out who can do that better than you. Because that's the point in passing this hat off, is to give it to somebody who can do it better than you. Because let's say I wanted to, like with me, going from a one camera person to having a team do it, right? And I picked a terrible team, right? What was the point of that? That's not really giving a hat away, is it? Because now I'm still worried about the quality. I'm still worried about whatever. Like I still got questions. No, when you give this away to somebody, it has to be somebody who can do this better than you. So when you're delegating and you're looking for people to help you, that's what you're looking for. You're looking for people who can do this better than you. Don't get jealous. Don't get competitive. That's not your shit anymore. You need to be very proud to say, I'm the best in the business. I say that all the time. I'm the best in the business. I don't have to think about it. I don't have to think about it. I don't have to think about my platform. I love Live Hip Hop Daily. Thank you guys so much. And I don't have to think about my production quality because Creative Visions is on it. So if we have that type of relationship, now I get to think about my show. I get to think about guests. I get to think about other things, right? Because they're the best at what they do. So this is when you delegate, that is what you're looking for. Don't just pass the hat. Because then you have more problems. Because now you got to check in on somebody. Now you got to make sure somebody's doing their job. Now you got to make sure somebody is like on their P's and Q's when they should just be on it anyway. I don't have time to micromanage, and I don't have time to come back and ask, okay, is this done? Is that done? Is this done? Is that done? It's just done. And that's the best way that I can move on, because then now it's not on my head. I get to be like, well, there's this other hat. Somebody can drive for me. I'm going to keep saying that because I need somebody that just willingly wants to drive for me. I don't want to do this shit anymore. Atlanta traffic has beat my ass, y'all. Like I'm so over it. Like somebody come pick me up. Like what happened? Where's the bus to Live Hip Hop Daily? Like where's that? Like can I get on the shuttle? Like can y'all come to where I live and come shuttle me back over here? I need that. Let's get that going. Let's get a shuttle for all the podcasters who just don't want to drive. Okay, and then the last thing is like, now you're in a role of leadership. So you got to be on your P's and Q's. If you're not on your P's and Q's, your team's going to lack. Because why? The person that they're working with doesn't care. So how much effort are they going to put into it? You guys ever work for somebody where, the boss real laid back, so then all of a sudden you guys stop doing things? Like I went to a restaurant one time where I know they should have been wearing gloves, but you could tell that everybody was having so much fun that no one gave a fuck about hygiene. So then I walked out of that bitch because gross. Because y'all have created this environment and it's so fun, it's so cool, it's so lax that now people are fucking tripping. Like we're not even doing a bare minimum anymore. Yeah, no, you cannot have that. So you need to lead in this way that people are going to actually want to follow. And that was something that I prayed for. That was definitely something that I wrote down in a book over and over and over again. I asked God to let me be a leader that people want to follow. There's a lot of people calling themselves leaders, but the people following behind them look like they are so upset. They look like they are being held hostage. Like you were holding these people there. And I didn't want to be like that. I wanted this to be something, I wanted me and how I acted and how I led my business to be something that people wanted to willingly follow and willingly be a part of, actually volunteer to be a part of. And that comes with how you hold yourself, how you do everything. So again, P's and Q's is not even really it. You kind of have to become better than what you are already, and then you have to keep doing that every single time. So if people already thought you were great, you're gonna have to beat yourself, and you're gonna have to like beat your accomplishments every single time. It's like, how do you call somebody the greatest sports person or greatest anchor or whatever? They're always winning awards. They're always outdoing themselves. They're always leveling up. They're always moving to a different level that you were already like, this person was fucking great when I met them, and now they're even better than it is. Yes, that is the only way that people are going to want to follow you, is because they're watching your self-improvement, and they're going to want to self-improve themselves, which means they're going to want to stay in your vicinity. You are like the people you hang around, which is why I have Bossies. And the word bossies means something, because I don't just have random people around me, because I can't do that. I'm not going to level up if I just have random people around me. I always say I need people to be more creative, have bigger ideas than I ever thought. People need to see me bigger than I see myself so that I can grow. If I'm the biggest thinker in the room, how far am I going to go? I can only go as far as my brain can think. And, you know, at some point I'm going to be like, well, I guess everything's fine because this is as big as I can think. No, you need people around you that are like, no, you know, there's a level 5, right? There's a level after this. There's, you know, there's different types of billionaires. You got the people who are sort of billionaires and the people who are like trillionaires almost. Like, there are levels to this shit. There's levels to having money. There's levels to moving around in this world. So, like, there's levels to everything. There's levels to podcasts. There's levels to a lot of things that I'm getting exposed to because of the people around me. So, and also because I keep trying to level up and not trying, actually achieving it, even though I be crying a lot and I be freaking out a lot and I be having a lot of phone calls where I'm like, please help me. I'm going through some shit, but it's okay. Every single entrepreneur is doing this. This is why you have bossies. These are the people that you can go to and not be judged while you're sitting there and you're like, this marketing campaign is killing it. Because it's real. It's really real. So having this sense of responsibility for me was like, shit. Like, when I started getting phone calls about other bossies, I was like, fuck is happening? Like, why is people coming to me about other people's actions? I'm technically responsible for y'all. That's why I had the whole episode about who I'm going to be responsible for, because we got to define that shit. Like, I have to understand and recognize the fact that I'm going to be responsible for whoever's attached to my name, whoever's a part of this platform. And it's because that's what happens. Even if I don't want it to happen, it's what happens. So it doesn't even matter. So I had to sit down and I had to define who I wanted to be responsible for. So I did that. Y'all watched the previous episode. I'm going to talk about this all the time. I'm going to post it on my page. Follow me at entrepreneur.ish.podcast. And because I want you guys to see who I decided to be responsible for, so that you can see if you want to join this thing, because this is who I'm going to include in it. Because if not, then you got to go. You got to go. But yeah, you're responsible for these people. People are going to look at you for recommendations. And when you recommend somebody, they're giving your stamp. People are going to treat them as if they're me, right? So that was crazy as fuck, because then I was like, oh, wow, I have to be really selective with who I'm sending out. So if you're telling me you have a business and this is your first time executing it, I can't really recommend you to anybody, right? Because what am I recommending? I'm recommending something that's I'm even scared to recommend it. So this is what I'm saying. I'm like, there's a responsibility that comes with this shit where it's like, oh, okay, this word I made up actually means something to people, and I actually have to find people who are ethical business owners and people who aren't scamming people and people who are out here doing what they say that they're gonna do. And to be honest, y'all, that's hard to find. And it does. I never thought that was gonna be hard to find. But it is. It's hard to find people that keep their word. It's hard to find people that hold themselves accountable for what they do. It's hard to find people that want to grow. It's hard to find people that, change. That's another thing is like, I get criticism all the time. And when I get this criticism, I do have to grow into something bigger than that. Like, I can't get that same criticism twice, because then that becomes your reputation. So that's the other thing. I have a reputation that I gotta uphold. So, we always hear all these rappers and all these people like, I'm not a role model. Yes, the fuck you are. People really do imitate you. Even if you didn't want to be a role model, you fucking are. Like, you are. And it's like, even if you didn't plan on being one, you are. I remember I met one of my boss's daughters, and she was like, I love what you do, and I'm so happy I get to meet you in person. And I was like, what? You're what? What did you say? I have little girls looking up to me. This is real. This is really real. So when you get that comment and you understand, my nieces look up to me because my sisters are talking about me in this show and how it's going and all this other stuff all the time to them. Sometimes they watch it. I tell them, y'all, Auntie Ellie curses, but you know, they watch the show and they see what I have going on. They see the pictures, they see all the stuff that I'm doing, all the places that I'm going to, and I had to realize I'm a role model, whether I fucking like it or not. So what does that mean? That means I have to act in a certain way. I have to carry myself in a certain way, even if I don't want to, even if I wish that I could just be me. You know, like, even if I wish that I could just sit here and that I could just say whatever I wanted and do whatever I wanted and it doesn't matter, who cares, whatever. No, little girls are looking up to me. There are people out here that are wanting to be a part of what I have going on, and they want to recommend me to their friends and do things like that. So then I have to hold myself as a person that somebody would recommend. They have to come to my show and have an experience that they would want their friends to be a part of, that they would want to tell their kids about, that they will want to post on their website, that they will want to share with their followers. You know what I'm saying? So even if you don't want to be, you're a role model. Okay, that's what happens. That was probably another big ass shock for me. It was that there were people that couldn't wait to meet me, and they're little beautiful girls, and I get to you know, be a part of what they think about themselves in the future and what they want to do and who they want to be later. It's crazy, right? Okay, so the last thing I wanted to talk to you guys about was lessons learned from all of this. My first lesson would be first lesson: start where you can and just keep doing it. I think that was the biggest thing that changed for me was becoming my greatest fan. Me being my own biggest fan changed a lot, because the way I talked about myself, the way I carried myself, and the way I talked about my show changed immediately. It went from being this little hobby thing that I was trying to do. I kind of have a podcast, like words like kinda, words like trying, words like all those in between words, they went away. And they went away because they had to. Because people don't like dealing with timid people, especially business owners. I've never seen any CEO be timid about what they have going on. They stand on that stage and they know that they are feeding millions of people. They know that they have a business that people are watching. They know that news articles are going to come out about them, that they'll be talked about on Twitter. They know all this type of stuff, so they hold themselves in a certain way. I am a CEO, so I have to act like it, and I have to move like it, and I have to change my life and be like them, because we look at them as like this superhero, right? And it's not a superhero. It's just a super disciplined person. It's a super disciplined, intentional person. And when I learned that about being a CEO and about being a boss, about being a bossy, I realized, okay, you have to start where you are, and once you start, you have to create a habit of being the best version of yourself every single day. And that is challenging. It takes time. It makes you want to cry. It makes you want to quit. It makes you want to go back to being old you until you just get addicted to it. I am addicted to being the best version of myself. Because you know why? I'm watching all the stuff coming in, and I'm like, let me get a little bit better. Let me sit a little bit straighter. Let me do things a little bit better, because I'm seeing the results from being the best version of myself. So if this is how things are, this is the lesson that you got to learn. Be the greatest version of yourself every fucking day until people take notice. That's the lesson. That is 100% the lesson. Be the greatest version of yourself until people take notice. So that's number one. Number two is during the transition, do not second guess yourself, because you becoming this greatest version of yourself is new. You don't even know if this is like something you want to be. You're like, I think this is the way that you get to be the best version of yourself, right? And it's weird. It's new. It's all new. I was like, do bossies really work out? Do I have to keep working out every day? Yes, it helps. So when it helps like that, it's like, okay. And then I was like, do I have to be kind? Do I have to support people? Do I have all these different things? Yes, because these are the things that have made me the person that I am. So because of that, I've been able to kind of move a lot better because I've become this new person, because I've been holding myself to a certain level and I've been moving in a way that actually has helped me get noticed. So in doing so, you guys, just for real, it's okay. It's okay to suck for a minute. It's okay to be unsure. It's okay to like not really know what's going on. It's okay. Don't second guess yourself though, because the moment you second guess yourself, you're gonna stumble. And we don't have time for that. We do not have time for the bossies to be on the ground. We don't have time for y'all to be, bandaging your knees, hitting your elbows. We don't have time for that. We don't have time for that. Do not second guess yourself, because if you told yourself that this is the best version of you, that's really the best version of you. Do it, be it, become it. Because the moment you start living in that space, the moment you start being that person, the moment you start, really going for that version of yourself that you're not really sure of, you will get real sure about yourself real fast. To the point where now it's like, it's just what we do. This is just what we do. This is just who we are. This is just how we come. This is how we show up every day. And once you get that, the second guessing goes away. Because then when people ask you, who are you? What's your brand about? How do you hold yourself? You have definitions for these things, because this is the version of you, right? This is the best version that you could put out, and you know why it's the best version of, and you know exactly that this is the best version of you because you didn't second guess yourself. You've done it so long that you can't even second guess yourself. This has become so habitual that we just do this. It's not even a problem. Like, if I would have told myself 2 years ago that you just run 2 miles like it's nothing, it's normal for you, I would have been like, who is that? But now I really do run 2 miles like it's nothing. Like, this is really 30 minutes of my day. Like, it's not even 30 minutes anymore. Like, I'm even getting faster. So this is what happens when you don't second guess yourself. You just go say, I'm gonna run 2 miles every day. Eventually, it's not even a problem. It's not even anything that you even got to think about. It's just something that happens to you every day. And this is the greatest people. Like, when y'all watch like these basketball players, these football stars, all these people, their workout routine is not second guessed. That's not something that they go, oh yeah, sure, I can skip. That's asinine. Like, that's crazy as fuck for them to be like, oh yeah, I'm gonna miss my workout. No, that doesn't happen. So that's what I'm saying by second guessing yourself. If that athlete second guessed themselves on the court, you would see it. They'll be stumbling. They won't catch the ball. They won't move in the same way, right? So this is the same thing for you. You cannot second guess yourself, because once you do, you're no longer the greatest. It's no longer easy for you. Because that's just how you define who's the greatest. So that's my second lesson that I learned. Never second guess yourself. Just be the best version of yourself, and whatever you define that is the answer. And then the third thing is, stop trying to be other people. Stop trying to be other people. If you see somebody else has a podcast similar to yours, don't change how you do your podcast so you can mimic what they got going on. Mimicking is okay, there's an art to it or whatever. There's some people who are actually really good doubles, right? But you're always going to be the double. You're never going to be the original. People are always going to say you're going to be the Temu version or the Wish version of whoever it is. Yeah, I don't want that name. I wish to God somebody would call me the Wish version of Wendy Williams or something like that. I'd punch you in the face. But no, like, for real, like, this is what it is. It's like, you never want to be the version of, like, you never want to be, you want to be you. You want to be the original. You want to be the thing that people can't wait to copy, can't wait to steal from, whatever. But if you're the person who's copying and stealing, you're always going to be the person that's copying and stealing. So so now you can't even focus on what you do best. You got to focus on that other person. You got to focus on trying to be them. You got to focus on trying to figure out where they shop. You got to focus on who they trying to talk to. You got to focus on what they got going on, where they going, who they dating, where they're going to be at, blah, blah, blah. I don't know about you, but I don't have time for that. I don't have time for that. And the more that you sit there and you try to be somebody else, the less you are yourself, and the more you lose yourself, and the sadder you're going to actually be. Why? Because you're never going to feel like you're going to make it. You're always going to be like, I can't get there. I can't be that person. Why can't I be that person? Because you're not them. They can't be you just like you can't be them. And that's just really what it is. So the moment that you realize that the best version of you is whatever you define you as, and you just go for that, you don't try to be anybody else, you don't try to dress like anybody else, talk like anybody else, anything like that, you're just you, people will recognize that as original. That's what they're gonna go for. Do you know how sick people are of copycats? Be your own self. Who are the people that you look up to most? Are they copycatters? They're not. They're the original. And you will go to bat to talk about how they are the original. That they have taken something that somebody else was doing. Like, there's always predecessors. Like, we're always going to have somebody who, you know, came before us. However, whoever came after them has to make their own name. And once you do that, you're set. Everything's good. Nothing else can go wrong. And why? It's because you're being you. And the last thing is, when you are yourself, you will never let yourself down. You'll never have a bad day. And I really, really mean this. When you have put your best foot forward, you have come as your highest self, you are pushing yourself to limits that you've never seen before. How can you possibly have a bad day? How can you have a bad day in business when you're doing better business than you've ever had? How can you have a bad day when you're getting more attention than you've ever had before? How can you have a bad day when you've been more yourself than you've ever thought that you could be? That's what we're doing here. I don't know about y'all, but I started my business to have freedom. And I think freedom of your own mind is part of it. It's a place where you get to go, I am okay and comfortable with who I am, why I am, and how I am. That's being an entrepreneur. That's what I want from all my bosses. I want you guys to be yourself. I want you guys to be the best, absolute, most iconic version of yourself. Do you know why? That's the only way you're going to get further. And do you know, I've been seeing certain bosses thrive after they got out their own way. After they started saying, no, I'm going to be me, only me, and nothing else, I've seen them thrive. And it's been beautiful to watch because they're them. And I'm looking at them like, you go, babes. You be bigger. You spread those wings. You go higher. You reach every mountaintop that you ever had in your life, right? And do you know, and I'm going to support them forever and then get more supporters because people are watching them be the best version of themselves. That's all anybody wants to follow. That's all anybody wants to watch. No one wants to watch you be mediocre. No one wants to watch you try. Everybody wants to watch you be the best version of yourself. People love to watch people be superheroes. They love to watch people do something that no one else does. That's all entrepreneurs do. All we do is talk about, okay, I make $80,000 a week, right? Now, if I sat up here and I said that to you every single week, do you know how many followers I would have? Because do you know how many people want to make $80,000 a week? Yes, they're going to want to do that. They're going to want to be that. They're going to be a part of that. Now, let me tell y'all, when I do start making that type of money, I'm not going to tell y'all. Y'all just going to know. Y'all going to see the set. Y'all going to see how things go. Y'all going to see that money actually put into what I got going on. But for real, like, that is because that's the best version of me, and that's how we're going to do it. But literally, people are watching you because you're the best version of yourself. And the better you get, the more attention you're going to get. That's really it. Because people love watching superstars. Be your own superstar. So that's it. That is how you guys get to kind of make this transition. This is what happens when your business grows. This is what happens. It's a little weird, but growing is supposed to be a little painful. You're supposed to get out of that comfort zone because you can only grow outside of your comfort zone. So I want you guys to keep this in mind, keep these lessons in mind. I want you to put your best foot forward. I want you to be as the most iconic version of you. I want you to start today. I want you to start right now. What's the most iconic thing that you can think of for yourself, and go do it. Try. Ask. Send that DM. Y'all have no idea how far I have gotten with DMs, bro. DM them people that you want a part of your life, that you want to join, who you want to be a part of, all that other stuff, because then you will be the best version of yourself. You get to do something outside of your comfort zone. You get to be around people who are going to push you to be better than you can. You're going to learn something that you never learned before. You're going to so much stuff. Go be the most iconic version of yourself and watch that needle move. Watch you cross into thresholds and watch you have your name in rooms that you're not even standing in. People are talking about you. You're not even around. Watch that happen. All because you are being the best version of yourself. So I thank you guys so much for watching this special episode of Entrepreneur-ish. Next month, we got a lot going on. We're doing nothing but authors. We're doing nothing but books. So if you got a favorite author, you got somebody, tell them to go ahead, click that link in my bio at entrepreneurish.podcast. And I want you to... Oh, I didn't say my name right. At entrepreneur.ish.podcast. And I want you guys to go to the link in the bio, go to the official website, and I want you to send people over to me. Only authors for October, and then we're going to do some cool stuff in November and December. So thank you guys for watching. My name's Elia. We're here each and every Thursday at Live Hip Hop Daily with Creative Visions. And I'll see you guys next time for another episode of Entrepreneur-ish. Bye.